Hello value investors, thank you for joining me. My name is Michael from Deep Value Returns on Seeking Alpha. Today I want to talk about Magnite. I'm going to talk about this digital ad company, what's good about it, I'm going to talk about its growth rate, what is actually depressing the share price, then we're going to talk about its valuation. So just going to jump right in. Okay, so this is something that I've been highlighting for some time now. You look here and you can see that these are digital ad companies. So I've put here Tremor, Digital Turbine, the Trade Desk, and PubMatic. And you can see there's a very nice clear layering over the last 6 months. The bigger the company, let's say the Trade Desk, the performance has been kind of flat. And then as you progress down the market cap, it's been lower and lower and lower, with the smallest one being PubMatic, that's actually down close to 60% in the past 6 months. So what's actually happening here? So behind all this, there's the privacy changes that are affecting how users attract online. So the ability of these platforms to target users has come down, and that impacts how advertisers reach the consumer. They're not able to figure out who to target. So what happens is that the advertiser struggles to target the correct people, and the pricing power of these digital platforms comes down. But the technology is starting to improve. That the Trade Desk has got Unified ID 2.0, and there are other operations, there are other kind of new technologies emerging that are able to track. So the way that we have done it before with cookies is going away, but there are new technologies coming around and starting to make an appearance. It's still, some time away, but this is something that's already taking place. Yet for now, the valuations are really depressed because investors are just too worried about how things are going to turn out. Now, I wanted to highlight something, okay? So this is the guidance, the yellow bar, this is the guidance that Magnite put out for Q3 21. You can see that they're expected to grow at 91% year over year. Very compelling, right? Well, not quite. The problem is Magnite made an acquisition in April and for SpotX, and they put down 1.1 billion. That's kind of approximately a quarter of the present market cap. So they made a huge acquisition in April, Q2, that's why the graph spikes up. And you're gonna see that as it comes around to Q2 of next year, the growth rates kind of start dipping down, okay? So they made it halfway through the Q2, and it's gonna start lapping in that period there, okay? Now, what's gonna happen is that is it going to go from growing at, let's say, close to triple digits or high 80s all the way to down to these kind of double digits, high double digit numbers like 20%? I don't think so. I think that investors are too gloomy here. I think that analysts are too gloomy here. I think that there's actually more opportunity facing Magnite than people understand. So here's one thing that I wanted to highlight, okay? So here you can see in the green box, CTV accounts for approximately a third of Magnite's total revenues as of Q2. That side of the business accounts for approximately 35% and is growing organically at approximately 50% compounded. Organic, compounded 50%. So if you have, let's for round numbers say right now, 40% of the underlying business growing at 50%, something great can happen, even if the rest of the opportunity in desktop is not really going to kind of be a big needle mover. You have 40% of the business is growing at a really rapid rate, and investors are not paying enough attention to that. So why is CTV so attractive, okay? So you can read about this either in the Trade Desk or in PubMatic. I follow a lot of these kind of companies, and you can see that CTV is attractive because of the following. First, it's a data-rich format. Second, you're traveling and you're moving your advert to where the household is, where the advertisers want to be, is where the eyeballs are. Next, compared to other outlets, for example, social media, it's very, very cheap to advertise on CTV. So you get data-rich, large consumers, many consumers, and cheap cost per impression, per 1,000 impressions, CPM. So with these three alignments, you get a very high ROI. So that's why you getting advertisers really kind of moving towards this opportunity. Now, investors said, okay, Magnite records its revenues on a gross basis, okay? So let's just unpick that. In fact, only less than 20% of its revenues are on gross basis. That means that pretty much everything that you see is already netted out, okay? So that, people were saying, if you look at its EBITDA margins, they're never going to be very high EBITDA margins. The facts actually show differently, okay? So this is the Analyst, they had an Analyst Day about 2 weeks ago, and you can see here the EBITDA margins pointing towards 35 to 40% EBITDA margin. So actually, when we unpick what's actually the opportunity, we see a business growing at approximately 25%, high EBITDA margins, priced at 6 times forward sales. And I don't think that's entirely justified. Now, your question is going to be, Michael, this is really interesting and really compelling. Why don't you have a position here? I don't have a position here because I've got a disclosure, I've got a position in Tremor and Digital Turbine, so I'm kind of exposed to the sector anyway. But if you want to find out what kind of stocks I'm interested in, don't forget to check out my marketplace. It's called Deep Value Returns. I help you become a better investor. I help you give you actionable investment insights. And you can check out what other people have said. Check out my 5-star reviews. Come on board, get involved, get engaged, and learn along the way. Okay, hope to see you next time. Bye.